Welcome back to Spring into Math 7. I'm Mrs. Campbell, and today we're going to be talking about special parts of angles. Let's get started. Okay, so mostly today we're going to be talking about adjacent and vertical angles. And before we do that, let's take a look at this. It says look at the intersecting lines below. Okay, just take a good look at it. And the note on the side says the angles formed by the two intersecting lines are numbered 1 through 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's learn how to find the measure of these angles given the measure of any one of them. Yes, it's true. If we just have the measure of one of those angles, we can find out the measure of all of them. Let's see how we do that. All right, well, the first way that we can do that is by knowing about adjacent angles. Now, adjacent means standing right next to you, right next to each other. And so adjacent angles, therefore, are angles that share the same vertex and a common side. If they combine to make a straight line, adjacent angles must add up to 180 degrees. Do you see some examples of this in the diagram below? I do. 1 and 2 are adjacent. They're right next to each other, and together they total 180 degrees. Okay, but there's more than that. Look at this. Also, 4 and 3 are adjacent. Am I done? Not quite, because actually, even though they're different colors, 2 and 3 are also adjacent, as are 1 and 4. Okay, let's look at angle measurements now. So, the sum of each angle pair is 180 degrees. Notice that the two angles measuring 110 degrees are diagonal from each other. So are the two angles measuring 70 degrees. These angle pairs are called vertical angles. So let me back up again. So if we know that these two are adjacent, okay, now we're going to move over to this other side over here where I put the little yellow dot. Basically what this paragraph is telling us is that, have you noticed that this is 110 and this is 110? On the opposite side, diagonal, the measurement is the same. Same with the 70s. 70 degrees, 70 degrees. So it is diagonal, opposite side, and those are considered to be vertical angles. Okay, let's talk some more about vertical angles. Vertical angles are always equal and always diagonal, highlight that because that's important, to one another. Again, we've got 75 and 75, 105, 105, 130, 130, 50 and 50, 85, 85, 95, 95. So in each figure, there are pairs of adjacent angles that add up to 180 degrees. So what that sentence is saying is 75 and 105 is 180. So we have adjacent angles on all of these, and we also have vertical angles on all of these. It's pretty cool. Okay. Identify all pairs, this is the practice problem for you. Identify all of the pairs of adjacent angles and the two pairs of vertical angles in the figure below. So actually we'll do this one together. So the adjacent angles you'd probably pick up on quickly, Q and R, T and S, but also S and R, and Q and T. Okay, and the vertical angles would be Q and S because they're diagonal and opposite of each other, and R and T. All right, lastly, now I know that this slide there looks like there's a lot of writing, but it's actually really simple, and once you get the hang of it, it's actually really fun. So basically what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to find all the measurements of the angles in this diagram, in this picture here, and you'll be surprised at actually how easy it is. First of all, I want you to take a look at this 50, okay? So we know that that angle is 50 degrees. Now remembering what we were talking about with vertical angles, then we know that B is also going to be 50 degrees, right? Because it's opposite, it's diagonal, so it's got to be the same. That one's going to be 50 as well. All right. Now, let's take a look at what this angle here might be. Well, the first thing I notice is that these two angles are adjacent to each other, 50 degrees and something. Now remember, adjacent angles need to add up to 180 degrees. So all I need to do is say 180 minus 50, well, that equals 130. So this angle here must equal 130 degrees. So that leaves only this angle that I need to worry about. And I could do this one of two ways. Knowing that this angle is 130 degrees and this is its vertical, then I know that will be 130 degrees as well. Or I could think about the fact that this angle is adjacent to angle B, which is 50, or I could say 180 minus 50 is 130. So there's several different ways you could go about to find those measurements, but all in all, it's actually pretty easy if you can remember adjacent angles and vertical angles. All right, everyone, that wraps it up for this lesson. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.